Come closer, beloved soul. Sit by the fire of my breath and listen not with your ears, but with that trembling flame inside your chest that remembers what it once was before the world began to speak its noise. There is something older than your name, waiting beneath your heartbeat. Death is its doorway, not its end. Do not fear that word. Death. It is not a scythe. It is a kiss. It is not the closing of your eyes, but their opening upon a new horizon. The world has dressed death in mourning cloths, yet it is the beloved in disguise, waiting at the final turn of the road, smiling, saying, "Come home." You have mistaken the cocoon for the creature, the clay for the breath. You have built your house in the marketplace of illusions, where gold decays and faces change with the wind. But when the mirror of the body cracks, the sun of the soul shines unhindered. That is death, not darkness, but the removal of shadow. O lover of form, tell me, what is it that truly dies? Is it the wave? Or is it the ocean pretending to be small for a moment? Every wave bends and bows, returning to the sea's endless body. So do you. The soul cannot drown in its own vastness. When you fall asleep each night, you rehearse the secret of death. You surrender your control. You let go of time, and 1,000 worlds are born and destroyed in your dreams. Yet you awake again, refreshed, renewed. Why fear the longer sleep when it awakens you into the eternal dawn? Listen, God is not behind death. He is within it. Death is the curtain that drops only, so the true stage may be revealed. The soul, drunk with divine wine, rises to dance again, unclothed, radiant. What you call ending is only the music shifting its key. When you die before you die, as the mystics say, the second death becomes only a homecoming. To die before you die means to let the ego fall asleep while the soul awakens. It is to let go of all that you are not, your fears, your pride, your name, your possessions, your self-importance, and to discover the silent space where God whispers your true name. The reed flute was once part of the reed bed. It cried only after it was cut, hollowed, emptied of its core. That emptiness made it sing. So must you be emptied by death, not as punishment, but as preparation for the divine song. You ask, Rumi, how can I love death? Love the one who lives through death. Love is the fire that melts separation. Love devours both life and death, until only the beloved remains. The moth does not fear the flame, it longs for it. It says, burn me, so I may know your light. Oh, you, too, must burn. The fire of truth consumes every falsehood you have called me, but the ashes will not grieve, for from them will rise what has never died, the soul made pure, translucent, untouchable. When I speak of death, I speak of reunion. Every loss you have suffered is a small rehearsal for that final union. Every heartbreak, every grief, every tear that fell without comfort was death knocking softly, saying, let go, child, there is something greater behind this. Death opens the way to God because it removes the final veil. You see, life itself is one veil after another. Childhood, youth, love, ambition, fear, all our garments. You try on, and then death comes and says, enough, take off your costumes. You have danced beautifully. Now come, let me take you backstage. Oh, what you think of as a grave is but a womb. The earth receives what heaven has kissed. The soil does not mourn the seed. It guards it, hides it in darkness, until the green shoots of eternity burst forth. Every tomb is pregnant with light. O Saker, death is the teacher who whispers, stop clinging to what was never yours. It teaches, surrender the only key to the beloved's chamber. To resist death is to resist transformation. To love death is to love the one who is constantly recreating you. Have you not noticed how everything dies and is born again? The moon fades and returns. The rose withers, and next spring it rises brighter. Even the night dies into dawn. Why should you be exempt from this holy rhythm? You, too, must vanish, so you can shine again. The Sufi does not run from death, he dances toward it, spinning until every illusion falls away. In that dizzying rotation, he dies 1,000 times to the world and is reborn 1,000 times to God. Each spin is a surrender, each surrender a resurrection. To die is to wake up from the dream of separation. You have never been apart from the one who breathed you into being. Death does not take you somewhere new. It strips away the blindness, so you may finally see where you have always been. O beloved, I tell you a secret. You are not the traveler, you are the road itself. You are not the flame that burns out. You are the light that burns through eternity. The dust on your robe may fall away, but the fire in your eyes belongs to no time. When I died, I did not go anywhere. I dissolved. I became the silence between words, the stillness beneath sound. I became the perfume of the rose and the echo of laughter in the wind. I became the lover and the beloved, the seeker and the sought. Death is a mirror that shows the face of God, but only to those who look without fear. Fear is the shadow of attachment. Let it go, and the mirror will shine. Love what cannot die, and death will serve you as a doorway, not a dungeon. You ask me, how shall I prepare for this death? I say, die daily. Let your opinions die before truth. Let your resentment die before forgiveness. Let your pride die before humility. Let your self-image die before the image of God within you. Each time you surrender, you are stepping closer to that luminous gate, where all opposites dissolve life and death. You and I, lover and beloved. Beyond that gate there is no end, no beginning. There is only the sigh of divine contentment, saying, I am. Oh, the lover's journey is not from life to death, but from death to life. The worldly see the grave as the finish line. The mystic sees it as the starting point of eternity. You cannot truly live until you have died to yourself. The heart that fears death is still bound by form. The heart that loves death has tasted the infinite, for the latter knows that death is not a thief, but a messenger bearing letters sealed with divine gold. Open them, and you will read, you are mine, and I am yours. When the Sufi dies, he does not leave behind life. He takes it with him, distilled and purified, like fragrance drawn from crushed petals. The crushing was necessary, otherwise, the scent would have remained trapped inside the bloom. And so, to beloved, when the hand of death presses upon you, do not curse it, bless it. Say, squeeze me until only fragrance remains, for that fragrance will rise to heaven, carried by angels who recognize the scent of surrender. To dwell is to live beautifully. To live beautifully is to be always dying to your fear, to your ego, to your attachments, so that you may live more truthfully, more freely, more like God. Even now, as you breathe, 1,000 cells in your body die each moment. You call it life. So too will you die one day completely, and God will call it life. Death opens the way to God, because death is the end of you and the beginning of him. But what is the difference? It's really, the drop is the ocean remembering itself. Come again. Even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come again. Death will not bar the door. It is the door. The beloved waits beyond it with arms open, saying, "Welcome home, my wandering one." O beloved soul, you walk through the marketplace of life, collecting names and faces, victories and wounds, but every step you take is leading you toward the same horizon. Death is not the enemy following you, it is the friend walking beside you, disguised as time. It whispers, softly, almost tenderly, "Remember me, for I will be the last to take your hand." Do not think of death as the end of light. It is the removal of the veil that your eyes could not yet see through. The world is but a lamp. Its oil will run dry, but the sun behind it never ceases to burn. When the lamp goes out, the sun finally shines, unfiltered upon your soul. That is what it means to die into God. Every lover must eventually leave the beloved's chamber. Even joy becomes heavy if you cling too tightly to it. Death is the beloved's way of saying, "Let us begin again in a higher room." You see, love does not end, it transforms. The caterpillar does not weep for its body when it becomes the butterfly. If only you could see what happens when a soul leaves its cage. The body sighs. The earth receives, but heaven laughs. Trumpets of light sound across invisible fields, and every soul that ever loved greets the traveler at the gate. No one is alone when they cross over. The one who sent you is the same one who waits for you. Death opens the way to God because it silences the mind. The mind, that chatterer, that restless merchant, counting coins of memory and fear, must finally fall still. In that stillness, the truth sings. When the harp of the mind stops vibrating, the eternal note begins. O you who fear the loss of control, tell me, did you control your first breath? Did you choose the day your heart began to beat? Then why do you fear the hand that began your rhythm when it comes to release you from it? The same God who gave you breath will gather it again, like a musician reclaiming his melody. Do you remember? Beloved, the night before you were born? You do not. Yet you existed in a silence deeper than stars. You came into this world through the door of your mother's pain. You will leave it through the door of your soul's relief. Every entrance is a cry, every exit a sigh, and both belong to the same divine exhalation. The Sufis say, when you die before you die, death cannot touch you. To die before you die is to love so fiercely that nothing remains of you but love itself. It is to dissolve like sugar in the ocean of God. You lose your form, but your sweetness pervades everything. You may say, but Rumi, I love life too much to think of death. Then I say, love it truly, not greedily, for to love life is to see God in every leaf, every tear, every fleeting sunset, and to know that none of it was ever yours to keep. Death teaches you that love without attachment is eternal. Why do you mourn? What must change? The rose that blooms eternally would lose its scent. The river that never reaches the sea would go mad in its restlessness. Change is the dance. Death is the pause that gives rhythm to eternity. O traveler, I tell you, this world is a caravanserai, a place of passing rest. Do not build your palace here. The caravan will move on at dawn. Keep your belongings light, faith, love, gratitude, and a heart willing to leave when the beloved calls your name. The prophet once said, "Die before you die." He did not speak of despair, but of awakening. He meant, stop pretending you are the clay. Remember that you are the breath that animates it. Let every moment of surrender be a small death. Die to anger, so compassion may rise. Die to the world's applause, so silence may teach you its wisdom. Die to the illusion of control, so you may swim freely in the current of divine will. To die into God is not to vanish, but to expand. When you pour a drop into the ocean, the drop does not cease to exist. It becomes immeasurable. So, too, when the soul surrenders into the infinite, it does not disappear. It becomes omnipresent. It is no longer you who love. It is love itself seeing through your eyes. One day you will laugh at the word death. You will see it as a mispronunciation of birth. You will realize you never truly left the divine womb. You have simply been moving from one form of light to another, shedding skins of time, like garments, grown too small for your infinite size. Imagine, beloved, that your life is a flute. God's breath moves through it, creating melodies of laughter, pain, discovery. One day, when the flute cracks, do not mourn. The breath will not end. It will move freely, unhindered by walls of bamboo. Death is the breaking of the instrument so that the music may be heard without obstruction. How strange that you weep at funerals when the soul is laughing, newly free. You cry for the body, yet the soul cries for you, saying, "Why do you cling to shadows when I have become light?" If only you could see the brilliance that follows the final breath. It is as if a window bursts open in a darkened room, and a wind of holiness sweeps through. Every limitation drops away the blindness, the pain, the confusion, and the soul, light as fragrance. Arises, whispering, "I am home." The wise do not wait for the grave to taste this freedom. They practice dying every day. They close their eyes and enter stillness. They let go of thought, identity, and form until they dissolve into the great silence where God hums the song of creation. That silence, oh, beloved, that silence is paradise. You have heard of resurrection, have you not? Resurrection is not tomorrow, it is now. It happens each time you awaken from ignorance into love. It happens whenever you let the false die so the real can breathe. It happens in your forgiveness, in your surrender, in your willingness to fall into the arms of the unseen. Every time you say, "I trust you," something within you dies, a small death of fear. Every time you say, "Your will, not mine," the walls crumble, and a bit of eternity floods in. This is how you prepare for the final return, not by fearing death, but by befriending it in life. When you see the spinning dervish, you know that his turning is death in motion. Each rotation is a letting go. He turns until he no longer knows where his body ends and where God begins. When he stops, if he is reborn in the stillness at the center, you, too, you must turn until you vanish into that divine axis. You fear death because you fear absence. But absence is only a form of presence that your eyes cannot translate. When the sun sets, you call it gone, but it has only moved to light another world. Death is the setting of one sun and the rising of another within your soul. O heart, stop fighting the inevitable. When death comes, it will not ask for permission. It will come like a lover in the night, unannounced yet tender. It will not steal you, it will reveal you. It will strip away your garments of illusion and whisper, "Now you are naked enough to be seen by God." The mystic sees the grave as a garden. Beneath the soil of ending blooms the rose of eternity. The tomb is the heart of the earth, and the heart of the earth beats with divine light. Do not stand over graves. In sorrow, stand in reverence. You are standing upon the threshold of God's workshop. where souls are polished into mirrors. When you understand death, you begin to live differently. You become gentle, for you see how fragile everything is. You become fearless, for you see how eternal you are. You begin to love without agenda, forgive without hesitation, and walk lightly, as one who knows every encounter is temporary but sacred. O soul of the wanderer, do not ask where you are going. The road leads only home, whether through joy or pain, through laughter or tears. Each step brings you closer to the beloved center. You have been dying since the moment you were born, and each death has carried you deeper into God. And so, when your time comes, when the wind pauses and the stars lean close, do not resist. Lay your head gently on the breast of the universe. Feel the heartbeat that has always been beneath your own. Let it take you. It has been calling you since before your first breath. Let the last sound upon your lips be a sigh of surrender. Let your last thought be a prayer of love. And then, as your eyes close upon this world, they will open upon the next, where light is language, and every soul is a verse in God's eternal poem. Beloved, come closer still. The words I speak are not meant for your mind, but for the part of you that has never died, the flame behind the ribs, the trembling spark that has waited through 1,000 lifetimes for this remembrance. Do you feel it now? That soft ache in the center of your being. That is the soul recognizing its own reflection in the mirror of death. Death, to the mystic, is not a thief, but a midwife. It does not steal, it delivers. The soul is heavy with eternity, and death is the moment of birth into that vastness. When the final breath escapes your lips, you will feel lighter than light itself. The cage will open, and the bird will not even hesitate. It will remember that it was always meant to fly. Why then do you shiver at the mention of death's name? Because you have mistaken your reflection for yourself. You have fallen in love with the shadow of form and forgotten the sun. When the sun sets, you mourn the fading color of your own illusion. But you, the light itself, cannot fade. You only return to your source. O Saker, you have wandered the desert of time, searching for water, yet the well was always inside you. Death simply breaks the jar, so the hidden water may flow. You are not the jar. You are the river that cannot be contained. Every heartbeat is a drum, calling you closer to your end. But do not hear it as doom. Hear it as invitation. Each throb of life says, come nearer, nearer to the center from which you began. Even your aging, your losses, for your tears, they are not decay, but the gentle polishing of the mirror through which God will soon look at himself. When the Sufi prays, he dies a little. When he sings, Tia dis more, and when he falls silent in ecstasy, he is already half gone from this world, drunk on the scent of the divine. To die before you die is to taste the nectar that awaits you beyond the veil. Once you have tasted it, the fear of death becomes a myth told to children. I tell you, beloved, if you were to glimpse for a single instant what waits beyond that door, you would beg to open it yourself, not in despair, but in longing, not because you despise the world, but because you recognize that the world is the shadow of something infinitely more radiant. The perfume you chase is the trace of a rose that grows in eternity. Let death be your teacher while you still walk in the body. Let it remind you to waste no moment in hatred, to cling to no illusion of permanence. Kiss the hands that hurt you, for they are breaking the shell around your soul. Thank your disappointments. They are sacred messengers saying, loosen your grip. Oh, do you not see? The beloved hides within loss. Every death you experience in life is an echo of the final union. When the beloved leaves you, when a dream fails, when a door closes, that is God rehearsing your homecoming. You grieve because you think something was taken, but in truth, you are being prepared for more. The reed flute sings not because it is whole, but because it was hollowed. So, must you be emptied by sorrow before the divine song can pass through you. Death is that final hollowing, that sacred emptiness, where only love can dwell. O gentle traveler, this body you carry is not your prison, it is your instrument. But when the song is finished, even the sweetest instrument must be set down. Do not cling to it. You are not the strings, you are the music itself, vibrating through time, returning to silence. The ignorant fear silence because they think it is the end of song. But silence is the birthplace of every melody. From silence we came, into silence we return. And in that silence, we are not lost, we are finally understood. When you fall into that silence, beloved, you will not say, I have died. You will say, I have awakened. You will look around and see that nothing was ever separate. The stars you admired, the ocean you longed for, the faces you loved, all of them will be within you. You will be the ocean, the stars, the faces, the breath of the universe itself. This is why the Sufi dances. He spins to forget himself, to fall apart, to be in motion. The body dissolves, and only love remains. The dervish spins not to escape life, but to merge with the axis that turns all worlds. That axis is death silent, unstill, unchanging, the pivot of creation. When I was alive among you, I was already dying. Each poem was a shedding of skin, each prayer a small departure, and when I finally stepped through the last door, I found not darkness, but the radiance I had always been writing about. I did not meet a stranger, I met myself in God, God in myself. O you who listen, do not wait for the last breath to taste this truth. Close your eyes, even now. Let the world fall away. Feel the stillness under your heartbeat. That stillness is death in disguise, and it is glorious. It is where God dwells, waiting for you to remember. Why do you clutch the world so tightly when it is slipping through your fingers even as you grasp it? Every possession you call mine belongs already to dust. Only love remains, for love cannot decay. It was never born, so it can never die. The one who loves beyond condition has already conquered death. Do not pray for a long life. Pray for a deep one. Length is the concern of the ego. Depth is the concern of the soul. When you live deeply, even a single breath can contain eternity. Death opens the way to God because it destroys all that is false. It burns away the pride, the fear, the stories you tell yourself. It is the purifying fire in which gold becomes gold again. Why fear such a flame? You were born from it. The soul is nothing but divine fire, wearing the disguise of flesh. There is a saying, the wound is the place where the light enters you. I say also, death is the wound through which eternity breathes. When your body lies still, and your name is spoken by others, in past tense, you will not be there to hear it. You will be laughing with the angels, astonished that you ever thought you were small. You will see the earth from above, and you will whisper, I was dreaming. The soul's first moment after death is not confusion but recognition. It remembers. It says, so that was the lesson. That was the dance. And in that remembrance, all suffering dissolves. What once seemed tragedy becomes melody. What once seemed punishment becomes revelation. O heart, if you knew how beautiful death truly is, you would not resist it. You would prepare for it, as a bride prepares for her wedding night, washing the dust of the journey from her skin, anointing herself in silence, dressing not in fear, but in awe. For death is the beloved's embrace. the final consummation of love. The saints have always smiled in their last moments, not because they sought death, but because they saw through it. Their eyes were not dimmed, they were opening. Their lips were not closing, they were whispering secrets too vast for words. Beloved, this world is only a bridge. Cross it, but do not build your house upon it. Death waits at the other side, not to destroy the bridge, but to lead you into the garden beyond. And when you arrive, you will realize you never truly crossed at all. The garden was here, within you, from the beginning. Even now, in the pulse of your veins, in the quiet behind your thoughts, death is whispering, I am not far away. I am the breath between breaths, the space between your words, the stillness behind your heartbeat. I am not your enemy. I am your return. And do not run. Do not hide. Bow. Let the final dance begin. Beloved of the eternal, come now into the quiet. Let the clamor of the mind grow distant. Let the tide of thought recede. For what comes now cannot be heard by noise. It is a voice older than creation. It speaks not in language, but in light. And it is calling you home. You have walked long through the corridors of form, through laughter and weeping, through nights of longing and mornings of forgetting. Yet all of it was preparation. Every ache was polishing you for this moment. The soul must be smooth before it can slip through the narrow gate of death into the boundless. Do you see now? The entire journey was not to teach you how to live, but how to die beautifully. For death is the mirror of love. Both require surrender. Both strip you naked. Both reveal what cannot be taken away. The world taught you to cling to faces, to moments, to identities. But the beloved teaches you to let go, to open your hands, even when they tremble, and release everything into his keeping. For only the empty hands can hold the infinite. Only the broken heart can taste perfect union. O you who still fear the unknown, know this: death is not unknown to your soul. It is the homeland it left behind. When you were born, to you wept because you had to forget. When you die, you will laugh because you will remember. Look at the waves. Do they weep when they sink into the sea? No, they are returning, and the sea does not mourn it, rejoices. You, too, are a wave pretending to be separate. When you fall back into the ocean, you will realize you never left it. To live in fear of death is to deny your own nature. You were not made for permanence, but for transformation. Every breath is both a birth and a death. Inhale, life enters. Exhale, life leaves. Between them lies the secret of surrender. When I died, beloved, the earth kissed my body, and the sky kissed my soul. He felt no terror, only the gentleness of release, as though 1,000 veils were being lifted one by one. The pain was in the holding, not in the letting go. When I surrendered, everything became light. It was as if I was being unwrapped from my own name, from my story, from my time. And there I was, pure awareness, radiant as dawn, vast as love itself. I did not meet God as a stranger. I met him as the mirror of my own essence. He said nothing, and yet all meaning was spoken. This is the truth. God is not at the end of the road. He is the road itself. You do not reach him by dying. You discover that you were never apart. Death only removes the veil of the dream. Oh, my friend, when the time comes for you, do not resist. Do not clutch at the curtain. Let it fall. The play is over, and the actor longs to rest in the arms of the author. You are that actor, and the author has always been love. When your last breath trembles, do not think of the past. Think of the light. Let its warmth draw you, as the sun draws the dew. Say to it, I am ready to melt, and melt you shall, into the radiance that bore you. Do not believe that heaven is elsewhere. Heaven is the unveiling of what you already are. It is the moment the drop realizes it was never separate from the sea. It is the great laughter after a long dream of seriousness. You ask, Rumi, will I see those I loved? Yes, beloved, but not as you remember them. You will see their essence, their fragrance, their eternal part. You will see them not as faces, but as light that once wore those faces. And that recognition will be joy beyond imagining. The lovers of God never truly part. Their meeting and their farewell are one and the same gesture, the closing of eyes here, the opening of eyes there. The separation you fear is only illusion. The souls that have touched through love are bound beyond the reach of time. Death opens the way to God, because death is the final stripping of form. It is the fire that burns the mask. When the mask falls, the divine face is revealed, and it is your own. How could it be otherwise? You were fashioned from his breath. You are the echo of his silence, the color of his invisible flame. Oh, beloved, even now you are dying and being born with every passing moment. Every ending in your life, the falling of leaves, the fading of a friendship, and the silence after music, all of them are doorways through which you can practice eternity. Sit quietly at sunset and feel how the world dissolves into amber. That, too, is death, soft and glorious. The night is not the enemy of the sun, it is its resting place. So too is death, the resting place of your weary radiance. When the saints speak of annihilation, fana, they do not mean destruction, but merging. The drop does not lose itself when it joins the ocean. It becomes the ocean's consciousness. To die into God is to realize that you never were anything but his expression. In this union, even the word God dissolves, for there is no longer subject and object, no lover and beloved, no you and I. There is only the breath before words, the silence that was before, let there be light, and that silence is more alive than all the worlds. Beloved, listen to me. Do not postpone your death until the grave. Die now. Die to your anger, to your opinions, to your need to be right. Die to the noise of the world, to the endless striving. Die to the illusion that you are separate. If you die these deaths while alive, the final one will be only a familiar friend. For the mystic, death is the beginning of endless intimacy. When you leave this world, the beloved will greet you not with words, but with recognition. His gaze will pierce through you, and you will remember, I was never other than this. The cup will shatter, but the wine will not spill. The flame will consume the candle, but the light will grow. The rain will fall, but it will not disappear. It will rise again as mist, as song, as love eternal. And you, yes, you who read these words, will not vanish. You will expand beyond the borders of your knowing. You will touch the galaxies with your thought. You will hear the secret music of the spheres. You will laugh with stars that were your companions before time began. So do not fear. Beloved, what you call death is simply God taking off his mask. The mystic dies not once, but forever. Each moment a surrender, each breath a reunion. And yet, even after the body is gone, the song continues. Every act of love, every tear of devotion, every whisper of forgiveness sends ripples through eternity. You are part of that song. You will always be. If you could hear the angels singing when a soul returns, you would never call death tragic again. It is a festival, a homecoming. The universe bows in reverence, for another spark has remembered the fire. One day, you will remember this conversation, not with your ears, but with your essence. You will hear my voice not as words, but as wind moving through your eternal garden. You will say, he was not speaking of death at all. He was speaking of awakening. Yes, beloved, death is awakening. Death opens the way to God, because death is the return to the one who never left you. It is not a fall, but a flight, not a shadow, but the end of shadow. So walk lightly through this world, love deeply, and let go easily. Forgive everything, dance often, and when death comes, rise, smiling, as one who has finally remembered the steps of the ancient dance. Go, beloved, go without fear. The door is open, the music is waiting. Step through and be the light you have always been.